More disturbing TikToks and theories that'll keep you up all night. I'm Jet Ski Chuck. Let's dive into it. What's good, everybody? Just waiting for everybody to get in here. Then we're going to start it up. We got an exciting one today. You better lock in and buckle up, bucko. I'm just trying to pull my chat up. How you guys feeling? Sandy Joe in the building. Hi, who can? Man, let's go. We got an exciting one. You guys don't even know. Slap that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed, because this series is only going to get deeper and deeper on these dark waters. We're just waiting for everyone to get in here, because we just started. Hope you all have an amazing weekend. And yeah, exciting stuff today. I actually have a couple photos I wanted to go through. But first, also a video compilation that I put together with the Tartarians and the Giants working together now. It makes so much sense. Defending humanity. Oh, it's getting deep. These scary theories it's only getting deeper, y'all. David, glad to be here. Jerome in the building. Joe, Truth Seeker. Light Buddha Mike. Casey, let's go. Sandy, Kim. Dark Waters gang is officially in the building. Yes, sir. Everyone join in. Smash it. Smash that like button. It's time we put the pieces together. How many people we got in here? 95? That's good enough. It's time we put the pieces together. The Giants, the Tartarians, they were really defending Earth for entertainment purposes only. This entire video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research on Now check this out. Find it. Check out these giant doors. Why make the doors so big? What we just read, I got more. That's one of those big ones. I like the jacket. I'm trying to stay warm. Yes. This is... Look at these giant doors. The first thing came to mind on the last live while we were reading it is when they were working together. These doors. They said they had custodian technology. What does that mean? Custodian technology? Would that be capable of building something like this? Is what comes to mind. Look at this one. Massive. So many questions run through the mind. Was this one giant piece? Did they stack this? What is your guys' thoughts? They found gigantic books as well? What? Let me see if I can find one. I found one. Like this right here. There, I'll just put it right here. The gigantic books as well. You know, I'm just going back. Why make books this big? Why? This is what comes to mind. Hold on, I got another one. Let me cook, please. Please, let me cook. Why? Why is this book so big? Why? I got another one. Why? Who made these books? How big of a machine did it take to combine these pages in the cover? If you look at the cover of this is an entire book. This boy is thick. Casey, are those books big for real? For entertainment purposes only. But look, they found some of these boys. I wouldn't be surprised if they got them in some museums or something. Let's see what else we can dig up. These doors. Something's not adding up. That's all I'm saying. I'm thinking giants. Tall aliens. That's a strong possibility. It's like, is the fallen angel working with the Greys? I don't know. This is all just... I can't wait to get back into the story in a little bit, to be honest. You know, because it's getting interesting, extremely interesting. But before we do that, there's a couple things we need to dissect. The technology of the old world. And these. Look at these coins. Someone please explain these coins. Catherine, what's good? David, imagine a book bags they had to use. How did they transport them boys? That's an excellent question. The traveler beyond the ice walls, little flock, disciples. What are these coins, though? Anybody? If we can just describe what's happening here. It looks like some English with some Hebrew. What's Joe? Is this Tartarian currency? That's what I'm gonna call it until we figure out a better name. Tartarian currency. Look at this one though. What does that look like in the top to you? At the very top, what does that look like to you? You definitely can see the etheric towers in the back that were conducting ether from the atmosphere. But what is this? Rumac in the building. A flying saucer, Frieza's ship. When we type this in on the internet, it says it's a shield on some takes. I don't know if I can buy a shield, because if we look below it, those are the giant towers that go into the sky. What would the shield be doing up there surrounded by clouds? I don't know. It is interesting though. Could there be some type of ancestral war that took place? Because why are they so deep? Uh-oh, we got another one. Tartarian coins. The triangle. You know what? The triangles. Didn't they say those pyramids needed the power to cause the resets? So what is this coin trying to say? Is this something that's flying? I don't know. But I can definitely see it's a triangle, and it looks like it's illuminating on either this town, or that has to be water by the swivels below, you know, the boats right here. But I'm saying there's, you know, it's a boat on water. And obviously this thing is floating. Look at this one. What are your thoughts? What do you see? What is this in the sky? What is that, a dragon on the right side holding it up? I'm trying to figure it out. DJ Khaled, another one. This one's crazy. How massive does that have to be? talking about with these orbs and these drones? That's a good point. What are they trying to say? Check this out. More Tartarian coins coming straight at you. It's like something's coming out of the sky. And it's holding like some type of device. Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if you guys heard me, but I'm like, a hand's coming out and it looks like it's holding a device. Yeah, you guys, we should be good now. You know, the technology they had back in the day, there's no telling. You know? Because we see stories like this. The Steam Man. You know? We see stories like this, the Steam Man running, you know? How good of a technology did they have back in the day? Is the question that comes to mind. Here go another one. Steam Man chugging. They got a whole American novel. This is like the robotic John Henry. This was the type of technology they had? And then they start actually building that boy. I believe this is a real one. Look at the legs. Makes you think, how good of technology did they really have back in the day? They had horsepower, they had a one-man power. Getting it. Even got the top hat with it, the Steam Man. You know, what type of technology was they really working with? Did they really tell us the truth about everything about our past? Is the main thing that comes to mind. Look at this dog. Look at the gears inside it. This vintage, was it animated or what? What type of technology was they really working with? Is the question that comes to mind. Don't even get me started about mercury rectifiers. Please don't get me started. What were they doing? Playing a flute or something? Then you hear crazy stories. You see crazy stories like this. The Illustrated American. This giant elephant, right? Was this like a giant attraction? Because look at how big. Hear me out for a second. Look how big this dude is on top of this elephant that can house people inside of it. So was this like the last hustle? What we're witnessing is like one of the last Tartarian hustles of a giant. The elephant bazaar. You know? For entertainment purposes only. Let's say this actually did happen. And explain this. The colossal elephant entrance. You know? It's almost like this is a real photo in a way, right? (1875 to 1903), it happened, said Jessica Cruz. Uh-oh. And what is this? This looks like very elaborate plans to go inside that boy, don't it? You see the average size of an elephant compared to this giant structure, the staircase in between the legs, the man almost 20 times smaller than an elephant. How big was this? You tell me. How big was this thing? Then we see, hold on, let me show you something. Fire Marshal Bill. Coney Island, did something. Electrocuted everyone. Dang. The Coney Island elephant. Oh, so is that what happened? So was this real? Is the question. Jessica, thank you for the $5. She's saying this thing might have went haywire. Was it actually stomping though? How far did this travel? I don't know. But I did run across this. So we really don't know. It was a real attraction. That's what people are saying. This was real. Very interesting, guys. But it just is those giants, man, just throws me off. You know? So if we look here, you know, these dudes are massive compared to my man on the right. With the Captain Crunch on the right, with the Captain Crunch hat, you know, there's just so much evidence. Look at this. Polar giants. You know, they're a little bit bigger, man. We're about to turn up the heat in a little bit. Don't worry. I don't think you're ready for this next part. Watch this. Look at how crazy these Tartarian structures went back in the day. What if this was an illustration of something of the real thing? How would you even get up there? How would you even get up there? Is there even guardrails? Remember, truth is always in the movies. Lord of the Rings was one of my favorite ones. Elevators. You know how I think they got up there? Airships. They had so many different sophisticated airships back in the day, y'all. Look at this. This is just one. I can't even begin to describe these. It was so normal to them. Like how we be kayaking, they'll go, mini ballooning. You see the paddles. It looks like they had actual, for paddles, some type of feathers to help them propel. How crazy is that? Look at this one. Look at the design. I can't read that. I think it's in French or something. But let's just take a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship. When nobody's beefing, you can put so much time and energy into something beautiful. I'm not done with you. I got more. I can't even begin to describe what is going on here. Kendrick, what in tar nation hits different, doesn't it? What in tar nation? What in tar nation is going on here? Tartaria nation. We're sick of the lies. Tell us the truth. They would have got to it by airship, guys. Just like how we be talking about Lambos, Fenty, Gucci, Ford F-250. I'm pretty sure they had different balloons like that. Oh, I'm gonna jump in the Ancient Waters 1979 balloon today. But yeah, man, those airships. Don't think for a second it wasn't traveling in style, bucko. What is this? Does it show how they're inflating it? Oh, guys, if you look carefully, they're using sound by the looks of it. It looks like they're using sound to fill these hot air balloons. Am I tripping? You tell me, am I tripping? That looks like a giant Swedish Ricola horn. Ricola. And they putting that straight into the hot air balloons. Was this a free method of helium or something? That piano hit, Nate. That's why we got it there, all right? So it can hit. But I'm not done with you. Come here. I'm not done with you. What is this? All right. We got to think. Tartarians? Wait, what is going on? This looks like some type of underground. It looks like some type of underground battles going on. It looks like they have horses underground. That's crazy. Could they be using that sound to fill those balloons up? Maybe it's old tech for moving air. Brandon Coast. I'm getting battleship vibes. I feel like some type of battle's taking place here. You feel me? But look. What is really going on? Now check this out. They're attacking the star fort. Okay, that makes sense. This looks like we got a real one here, boys. But what about this one? Is that a giant World Fair type Ferris wheel? What was that? In Chicago? Please, I just asked of a moment of your time. That wouldn't happen to be one of these Ferris wheels, would it? That each slot was as big as a house. Couldn't be it, could it? Where each Ferris wheel could hold over 1,000 people. Because each one of those little carriages you see is like the size of a bus. It says, the Great Ferris Wheel, the Columbian Exposition. It's just one. I'm sure I can find another one. And if you think about it for a second, they probably getting charged up by the Eiffel Tower. They go right to the top of that mooring station or mooring. Because they had the technology, you know? It was on a different level with the technology. Check this out. Old buildings, new tech. You might be looking at that and be like, well, if that's a power station, Chuck, how is it powered? Well, I'm no nuclear physicist, but I believe them boys was rocking. That's what I believe. I believe they swayed left and right because India has so many different temples that move freely on their own. Like you barely tap them and they move. What is going on here? What are they trying to conduct? Look, guys. Look at this. This was on top of an airship. Look how comfortable they are. It says, hey, Ripperoo, become a buckled up bucko. Let's go. It says, the promenade deck and saloon on the top passenger liner. I'm no nuclear physicist, but this looks like they're on an airship. Don't even get me started about the bells. Please, I beg of you, don't say nothing to me about the ancient bells. Don't get me started. Please. I ask that you not get me started about the mercury rectifiers either. Please. But something's afoot. If we look at the, this is for a different video, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway. If you look at all the ancient Japanese structures, what are they doing? They're conducting. That's what they're doing, all right? They are strictly conducting. Why put that on the top? You got so much symmetry below you. It's all fanned out and it looks beautiful. But why? Why put that on the top? It's so they can conduct. They're trying to conduct the ether. Let me show you this exact building. It is the oldest building in Japan. And look at what they got on the top of that boy. And me, I'm thinking they just made those structures because they thought it looked cool. But no, everything has a meaning. So, when I show you this, and you ask yourself, how are they going to get up there? The answer is airship. Don't worry, we got the Japanese building under a microscope. What really are they doing with that resonator on top of their structure? The boys are trying to conduct. Just like how they conducted back in the day. The continuous conduct. All right, guys. I got a little quick comp we put together. Because if you looked at the thumbnail, someone asked me, man, what does a custodian look like? Let me say that again. I was in the comments and somebody said, what does a custodian look like? I don't even know what a custodian is, to be honest. But based on the data that we've gathered on these dark waters, let's get to it. Activate submersible.
The inventor, Daniel, and here are some of his photos. This one looks very much like an alien gray, maybe because it's gray, for instance, I'm not too sure, but this one looks rather bizarre. It looks something that belongs in a sci-fi movie. And this one kind of gives me Prometheus vibes going on right here. But for those looking at these photos, what are your thoughts on this? And we can discuss that before we continue. This one, we got the fire entity going on right here. Angel type entity. If people had this technology in hand, I mean, these ones look slightly terrifying if you're looking at these, but if people had this technology in hand, would they reconsider what ghosts are, where maybe they could be these multi-dimensional entities instead? Here is the inventor, Daniel, and here are some of his photos. This one looks very much like an alien gray, maybe because it's gray, for instance. I'm not too sure. But this one looks rather bizarre. It looks something that belongs in a sci-fi movie. And this one kind of gives me Prometheus vibes going on right here. But for those looking at these photos, what are your thoughts on this? And we can discuss that before we continue. This one, we got the fire entity going on right here. Angel type entity. If people had this technology in hand, I mean, these ones look slightly terrifying if you're looking at these, but if people had this technology in hand, would they reconsider what ghosts are, where maybe they could be these multi-dimensional entities instead? Here is the inventor, Daniel, and
if I had to say, I'd say that would be our best guess at taking a shot at what they could possibly look like. If they're not capable of, you know, getting into a human shell and all that, you know. But, you know, those images were caught from CERN, so I'm sitting here thinking, that might be a custodian. All right, guys, let's check out we know. Hold on, let's take it to the fire real quick. All right, guys, we know that the Tartarians was working with the Giants based on what we just was reading. So we have to dive into that a little bit. Then we're going to dive back into the Traveler Beyond the Ice Wall.
This man found something very strange in Egypt in 1988, and I'm not surprised we have heard nothing about it since. So his name is Gregor Spory. He is Swiss. He's a researcher, he's an author, he's an archaeologist. He's like Indiana Jones. Listen to what he did. He met with a group in Cairo, and these guys were grave robbers, and the word had spread that they found something really interesting, and he wanted to get it off them. What they handed him in a bundle of rags would change the course of his life. He unrolled the bag and found a 16-inch giant mummified finger. You can even see the bone sticking out the other end. A 16-inch finger, they did the math, it would make the creature that had this finger be 16 feet tall. Disclaimer, this video is meant for purely entertainment purposes only, and it's not to be taken as a fact. This could be totally a hoax, but some stuff in ancient times about giants, it just seems a bit too... So, it may very well be fake, but if it's real, this is a giant, damn giant, man. 16 freaking feet, can you imagine? And this is a mural that was in a pyramid in Sudan, with a giant holding 2 elephants. It could just be cool artwork, it could be metaphorical. But all I know is an elephant's longer than 16 feet, probably. And so that would make this guy very tall. Maybe there was different types of giants. If they existed, they could be totally fake. Comment below if you thought you'd see a giant mummified finger on Instagram today.
Up above the storm, and they were filming these things, not knowing really what they are. They're still a mystery to scientists today. Even the people that took these pictures have their interpretations of what they've seen. They really didn't know what it was. They were kind of going with sort of a mainstream narrative. But I'm going to show you this, And when I show it to you and compare it to the footage that you've seen of the firmament from our previous videos, it's going to blow your mind. And I don't know about you, but it's made me emotional. It was kind of hard to even sit down and start this video in the first place. But you can see right here some of their footage of these lightning sprites shooting out of the firmament. When they play it in slow motion and you brighten it, it's very easy to see the structure above us that's been mentioned in the Bible.
Hey, Paul, you didn't, we dove into a little bit of some ancient photos, and, now we're about to get into some of these videos. And then after that, we're going to dive into this book. Got an exciting lineup today.
And just read over and ignored for many centuries. I mean, this is something that I don't know how we missed it, but I do know how we missed it. But look at this footage here of a geyser out in, I believe this is Greenland. And I'm going to compare side by side both of these and just look at it. And you can't deny the waters below when you see this. This is something that it's like an exact replica. It's breathtaking. I'm going to leave it up here for you. Just look at it, analyze it, let us know what you think. I can't unsee stuff like this. This is something you just can't unsee. And I just thank the Father for revealing it to all of us as He is, because there is a mountain of lies out there that we have all been exposed to, and there are more to come. So just know the truth about creation. This earth is not moving. There is a firmament above us. We've seen it. It's there. And it's time to find out what our true purpose really is. We are no accident. There was no Big Bang explosion that caused all of this. This is the Father's handiwork.
Guys, I know we did. Now, when I'm watching this, I'm thinking, are there multiple membranes within the 174 realms or not? That's what comes to mind. Unbelievable. Because that looks impenetrable.
Oh, it's all coming out now.
Like, you can't get through that.
I'm telling you, it's all coming out now. They found a giant mummified finger in Egypt in 1988. Oh my days. And for all those skeptics out there that are wondering if this is real, they managed to verify this one with an X-ray. The hand of a mummy with a 15-inch finger would be this size. The actual hand most likely weighs more than 175 pounds. If a person this size once existed, then it becomes easy to understand how the pyramids was built. So when I say I got your ass, oh, I've got your ass.
And then this giant ring, man. Were they working together? Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. You read my mind. Welcome, McMahon. Wait, what was that? Did y'all see that? Something crazy is going on.
Am I the only one seeing lots of shadow figures? This rising, I swear, I was laying down and a shadow figure, entity of some sort, walked in. I felt the presence of this entity walk right in, and it was like, and I looked, and it wasn't there. But in my peripheral vision, I can see some type of silhouette or apparition like this. Ever since April 8th, things have been very weird with the light spectrum. Personally, I believe when CERN opened up that portal, a bunch of interdimensional beings came through it. Not only that, but they also altered the timeline, but that's a whole nother video. You know, they discovered a 4D phantom and a super proton synchrotron. And what do you think these entities are? I heard some say ancestors. I heard some say disembodied spirits. I even heard some say that they could be intel, you know, that work for some type of agency or from another star system sent to spy on the chosen. I can't tell you what their exact purpose is or what their intention is. I can only speculate, but I do know that I have seen these entities on more than one occasion. I have seen them actually more than this rising. I have been seeing them, but this rising was very clear. Just that the dimensions are so close that we almost see an imprint of another universe on top of ours, or, I mean, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? As I said, I only can speculate or assume or form a hypothesis to what these apparitions are. Somebody need to seriously interview CERN and ask them what the hell they're not allowed to come into our reality.
I finally figured out what they're using CERN for.
This dude said he finally figured out what they using CERN for.
These variant clones are trying to escape their judgment. Every time the Elohim get close to coming here, these people jump the timeline to try to escape judgment. These Zeta Greys gave these variants the technology to move our Earth through multiversal dimensions. Our military has seen through Project Looking Glass that their end was destruction and judgment, and this is what they're trying to run from and escape. The Kangs are coming. There's nowhere to hide. The Elohim are eventually going to find their way here. Eventually, the Hadron Collider will be destroyed, and there will be no more timelines for you to run to and try to escape. Once the Hadron Collider is destroyed, we will all return back to the sacred timeline.
That does look crazy though, doesn't it? CERN portals. You don't know if it's a drone or what. Keep getting reminded of that Spider-Man movie where he was using those drones to produce those holograms.
I know where Satan's throne is. Check this out. Did you know that the Bible actually tells us where it is? So Revelation chapter 2 verse 13 says, I know where you dwell, where Satan's throne is, and you did not deny the faith, even in the days of Antipas, my faithful witness who was killed among you, where Satan dwells. Listen to this. So history tells us that Antipas was martyred under the reign of Nero in a town of Lyon, which is now Geneva, Switzerland. But that's not even the crazy part. Guess what's happening in Geneva? There's an organization called CERN, and they're based there, and their whole objective is to split the veil between the supernatural and the natural realm. So they literally want to open and create a portal into hell. So ironically, their logo is 3 6s, and the Bible even says that this is the city of Satan. So make sure to subscribe now for more biblical content like this. And I want you to tell me below, did you know where Satan's throne was? If you didn't, now you do. Let's go.
CERN freaks me out for so many reasons. In this video, I'm going to tell y'all why and how what they're telling us might not be what it actually is. So what they tell us is that CERN is a scientific...
I don't know, man. I do not know.
instrument used to explore the constituents of matter. Now, if you do a little digging, you will see that it's so much more than that. With this scientific instrument, they clash atoms together trying to discover new particles. I believe it was in 2012 that they discovered something called the God particle, which allegedly they are using to open portals around the Earth. Let's first of all get into the reasons why it gives sinister. Look at their logo. 666. That's number one. Number two. Right outside their headquarters is a statue of the goddess of destruction, Shiva. And let me tell y'all, they love to take pictures with it. It's giving obsession. And did y'all know that CERN is actually directly under an old temple of Apollo that was said to be a portal to the underworld? Coincidence? I think not. Now, that begs the question, why would they be trying to create portals? The popular reason that people think is that they want to crack the firmament by creating portals at the bottom of the ocean, which is where HE double hockey sticks is said to be. And that's not just in the Christian Bible. That goes all the way into Greek mythology. You can see that type of stuff in Sumerian texts. This is history repeating itself. And something that really tripped me out is that The Simpsons actually has an episode talking about how the world ends. And in that episode, we literally get swallowed up by a black hole after the government messes around with a scientific instrument. And y'all know The Simpsons be predicting the future. And y'all know I come with receipts, so here it is.
Damn. It's time for the main event. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn, your hot cocoa, your electric blanket, because it is time. We are diving in. Yeah. What was that? Y'all want me to hit a flip real quick? All right, bet, I got you. I loosen. Damn. It is time for the main event. All right, y'all. It is time. We gotta just drive to our cabin. We are on our way to the cabin where it is that time. All right, we made it to the cabin. All right, quick summary where we left off. We learned about the Tartarians defending the earth from the Anunnaki and the custodians. The pyramids were used as giant resets devices. I don't know if you needed to activate all of them to generate a reset, but you needed all the pyramids around the world to be generating a certain frequency to activate the resets. They were left as trophies to anybody that, you know, crossed them and you didn't know what was going on. They were just left as trophies. So the next chapter, El Arca, the prosperous capital, is the next chapter we're on. After spending the strange night of fire mixed with the many theories that we're trying to deduce from Shikai's book, it was very strange sensation that went from the extreme to the extreme. To think that we were at a point far away from everything, and we had come to understand from one minute to another that we're the source. The source, that conscious energy of the celestial lands that lived in each one of us, and also united us to the ancestral humans and to all of who had lost their lives in each reset, manipulated and hidden. We began to spot birds flutter around our ship that were approaching land, although we suspected it could not confirm it with the captain all the way, but the city that awaited us was again El Arca, the modern capital of the ancestral lands. The first rain since we arrived in these lands began to fall, very slowly, just when I was beginning to think that in these latitudes there was no such phenomenon, that the lights of the city were coming on in the distance, and the immersed city of El Arca was an invitation to the imagination and confidence that such a perfect and peaceful life could be possible also in the dark. Environment between the ice walls. Without the control of the custodians or any intruder race among us, we also began to understand that simply was what made everything else great. Stepping on the grass with the bare feet, the birds perching in the most modern harbor, the very rain that gave it tinge of the melancholy gray from the sadness of thinking that not all the humanity was going to be able to witness what our eyes were seeing right now. Even though we had lived through a furious attack and the most devastating we have ever seen, the immense city gave us the assurance that all would be well, that this could never fail. Millions of ancestors were living their lives as close to what we once dreamed of as children, what we dreamed of for the future generations, a place of peace and love where there is no pain or suffering, where work does not mean exploitation, where there is no dirty politics or wars for territory or power, no discrimination or stereotypes, no social difference, everything is shared and happiness is breathed. Welcome to the ancestral republic, we heard in the distance, in their own clear language according to Butler's translation. What was Butler's plan now, we wondered. The captain commented that we could get lost and investigate by immersing ourselves a little inside the city. Remember that nothing could be bought with gold or used money since they used another form of exchange there, he explained. The plan was not clear, but he would immediately meet with Fael and the other leaders from different important places in the Republic. The boys got lost in the big city, and I was left alone, pensive amidst the torrential rain that fell on my face. Although of the calm appearance, dejected inside, I kept sinking in my deep thoughts of human future that could not be. How to overcome this shared misfortune? I asked myself again and again. I still had so much to discover in the great book of Shikai. Would I found in any halo of claim in it? This information received and fallen worse on me than the rest. I now feel guilty somehow that I could not do anything to free the millions that were behind, and that in addition we had been persecuted and attacked in the distant lands. What heart resists before such an onslaught? What heart could not suffer for now distant brothers that still remain within this vile environment? Many hours had passed, and I was walking through the streets of this colorful city. Some few people were crossing my path. I felt their understandable strange look. My way of dressing was not suitable for this modern. I felt like a caveman, even worse. If I tried to talk to them, so I continued my way only observing. Would they understand that we were brothers and shared the same suffering? Questions crossed my mind at every step, and few people I looked deeply into the eyes. One man even tried to talk to me, but I only managed to wave my hands, explaining that I did not understand what he was telling me. Only failed as if to answer a name known all to the man pointed a large building a few blocks away. There were not even puddles of water that acclimated. The whole system was perfectly functioning so that it did not generate any flooding. Hit my face so many times that it was difficult to interpret. I dare not even mention the drawings that came out of the walls that projected humans interpreting the most beautiful melodies that sweeten the ears of passerby. I returned to the port somewhat. I had everything a person needed in front of my eyes. I was before absolute happiness, but the pain of not being able to share it generated an immense sadness in me. I also kept seeing the faces of the people who fell in the renouncer. Butler was returning, delivering a modern vehicle. When he saw me, he stopped and invited me to get in. His face transmitted some joy. Then he commented to me, "William, we have not been able to get to the Anakim to help us directly. It is understandable, you know. They do not want to risk their entire race again, but I know that they will help us in the long run. We have won this battle, and we do not believe that the custodians will attack these lands again for a long time. We gave them a lesson that our technology is still more alive than ever. They tested us, and I assure you that they came back with fear." Then he continued explaining to me with some questions that I could ask on our way to the port of El Arca. Apparently the Guardians were not aware of the technology that they had been developing in the ancestral republic in the last 100 years. In conjunction with the Anakim race, they thought that this attack would make them directly tremble and possibly surrender immediately, as happened in the ancient times in Asgard and other lands. This had to be taken advantage of the following years if we were to have a chance to regain the known lands and free the brethren from the last reset. But all should be careful. Any move that is not planned in advance could cause another reset and of millions. Next chapter is called The Artificial Worlds. Everybody good? Audio good? Music good? Crackling good? Everybody warm, toasty? Got your electric blanket, hot cocoa, popcorn with butter? Is everybody great? We met in the boat that we used in the last trips between the lands of the giants and the El Arca, and Butler told the group almost the same thing that we had been talking about in this return vehicle, but he put more force into his words, and his joy overflowed in every part of his face. He had even got something to toast, and the whole group was the most joyful since we arrived. Unfortunately, this enjoyment was not penetrating my mind, and much less my heart. I was still distantly trying to understand what would be the right move to change everything. I kept wondering if this was really possible, and if so, how many years of there within the walls would pass while I was totally involved in freeing my brothers in there. Butler tried to cheer me up. It was time to change history, and this didn't happen every day, so I hid my temporary disenchantment and joined the toast. There was no need to even ask about a possible return to our homelands. This was ruled out by absolute. Somehow in the toast, I closed my eyes with prayers toward the loved ones I feared I would not be able to see again. Can a prosperous place like this be enjoyed if not shared with the ones you love? Butler knew inwardly. He went ahead to tell us that he would soon be visiting the known lands again, and that it would help much more on the side than be entertaining there and becoming an easy custodial prey. They would never forgive such a betrayal of escaping from their nets, and on top of recovering a large part of history that was never told. And we, the whole group, did not care what they really thought either, but it was our duty to take care of ourselves and stay away from the time being and plan our next visit. Butler brought us lots of information on how the Republic worked. He also gave us several books, among them many on the large spoken there, as a renouncer, and otherwise English was spoken in perfection. There were several books with translations of arcane language to English and vice versa. As the captain said, it was time to start studying. Several years had passed. Among so many things I learned during my stay was time passed slower in these lands compared to the known lands. It was undoubtedly what I had more trouble understanding than the whole library on time, perception, sense of passage of time. As an experienced person with a background in major battles in the U.S. Naval Force, I eventually gained Fayo's trust, and by an anonymous decision, I became the naval captain and the chief of the Ancestral Republic. From there, I was able to study more about the defenses of the Republic, its technology, and its development along vision for the future. We carried out projections of possible attacks on the known lands without affecting civilian life, but the missions were almost always discarded due to the difficulty I had in finding the real bases of the custodians. Since they moved from one place to another using portals and almost never had long stays in the lands, but returned to theirs, always leaving some leader guarding, it was really easy for them. Without implementation of the ice walls, the humans possibly of even reaching the first dome was almost impossible. Besides the conditioning that existed by the media and the academy, they had really created humans that would repeat the exhaustion that what their books said, and would even guard the walls until death without knowing that they really existed behind them, only by order of their superiors. The creation of paper money was also key for everything to work according to his master plan. Now everything was given so that the humanity of the known lands would know their true origin, nor the lands of waiting for them behind the frozen curtains. Can you imagine any possibility that the humans with the little technology that existed could never between the giant blocks of ice find even a passage, and not even know that the passage would give them possibility of crossing the dome? The possibilities were clearly reduced to one in a million, but we succeeded and they were aware of it, so it would not be strange to think that they would use the human militia to guard their own brothers, most of them out of ignorance and others for royalties. The bases in the Antarctic Ring and the exclusion zones would not take long to arrive. As Butler predicted some time ago, it was known that other security measures would be taken because of the past war to the defeat in the reborn would bring consequences. All right, manipulation in the known lands. In all the time that I have passed, I became more and more in an arcane ancestral. I did not handle the language to perfection, but I made myself understood. I was interested in the science and technology. I tried to learn as much as I could from the minds really advanced and specialized in the matter. I learned a lot about how our body works in much detail, as if I could the bacteria that lived in us, and what was the difference between a real disease to one created by a laboratory. They were more surprised than me when the group of them made us different analysis to see everything. We transported from our homelands. There were so many bacteria and viruses that have been modified and created for different purposes by the custodians that it was difficult to count. In fact, it was known that their plan was still growing every year to continue creating new ones. They had people infiltrating the lands for information every so often. With Butler and the attack of the Reborn, they stopped sending men for quite a while, and neither did the infiltrators come back to make sure they could not be discovered working there. The whole operation would fall apart, and we needed as much information in there as possible. We had to be one step ahead of them, or else we would never have a chance to win. I was getting to the fact that where there was no social difference, we also lived relatively the same way, and no one lacked the basics to have a full life. The President of the Republic and the group of the leaders, although they lived in a remote rural area by their own decision, did not have any luxury, nor did they receive different salaries from the rest. Anyone had a voice in the politics, if you call it that, since it differed significantly from the known, and their ideas listened to. There was no crime at all, and for obvious reasons, no penitentiary. Respect for the life of the others was the main motto, and everyone volunteered to adapt to it. It was something natural, and we breathed it every day. Spiritually and introspection were the fundamental and were taught from childhood. They were part of the education, first going through spiritual growth and then moving on to the rest. They tried not to have any image of themselves, since the mind could not deceive them, imaging that they were something or someone for others, when in reality that they would be based on subjective of others. Not having an image and not living from the past were pillars that I struggled to understand for years. Two fundamental pieces of the puzzle designed for such growth. They called it the death of the ego. From there, they based any knowledge of learning that would come later, never the other way around, first to know oneself and then to know the world around them. They taught me a lot about the great masters who visited our earth and who were still remembered. The messages they tried to deliver based on what was written before, but all those messages have been distorted, intermingled with dirty business by the custodial sector. They would never let spiritual growth become president in each one. Besides mixing it with dirty money, they would also infiltrate several people who would confuse spiritual growth with religious themes to confront sectors or simply false prophets who predicted future chaos. The few periods of growth that existed with the walls of ice went hand in hand with the memories of peace. Without great warlike conflicts, but sooner or later some great war would come, or attacks, plagues, and always something of the sector. Politics was also implemented in conjunction with various societies that led in control of these limits, manufactured from the beginning that would be modified according to the many wars that existed until today. The so-called countries were just another form of control, where they were supposed leaders who ruled, but in reality were easily adapted to the same custodial power. The form of control was based on the paper money system, would be the key to absolute control in the development of the new humanity. Science would then enter its key role, where it would drag society into extreme spiritual emptying, basing on life mere material facts. People would then seek to increase their collection of colored paper and would turn away from the love of the surroundings, even for themselves. Their image would be transformed into the reduced forever into a simple biological functions. What would then be a dream of profoundly sick society? The real battle would then be found internally in each of the humans of the known lands, but the realities be distorted, always imagining that the central problem is the other's hate would win over the love of the time the humans would notice it would already be too late. The road to the great dictatorship would seem inevitable. The true feelings of love and spiritual growth as a whole would be less and less valued, and without this it would do little from here, since they would take us as a bitter enemies and would join the custodians without knowing it and annihilate us. There was military forces work together when only a minority knows it. The great positions are not all them. The system was in a place and only details were left for the human alone, without even knowing it. To talk to the path of the humans would only take care of the system. The lack of the spiritual growth added to the real value given to the material, and had a system based only paper money, with all that society needed to fall into a vile plan and defend it to the death. All right. We got the last chapter, guys. This one is the plan to free the human being. This isn't the last chapter, but it's the last chapter for today. So let's dive in. While there was a different plan, while this was a direct plan to free the humans who were still trapped under the custodial yoke and manipulated it since by the lie, it was very risky, and it would also put at risk not only the millions who lived within the walls, but also the ancestral humans of the republic races of the surrounding lands. Butler arrived one morning to the office together with Fael, and they told me that they had devised an alternative that could be effective. The custodians were strong in weapons and war strategies. They based their whole life on development, but they had weakness like any race, and this could be found in the depths of their intelligence. Not to be misunderstood, they were extremely intelligent beings and great caretakers of colonies, especially the humans, who would be beings which they never realized after several long resets throughout history, but they found weak points that they could attack. Their fear could be still felt from a distance. They were not happy that the ancestral humans in Anakim still existed around their most important colony, but they not tried to attack our lands in these many years that had passed. That put us ahead. If it detested us, they had enough technology and military force to try to destroy us. What had led them not to make more attacks? The meeting with Fael and Butler lasted more than 4 hours. They had developed a series of different plans that supplemented the previous ones in case of failure. All were based on attacking what was considered the weakness of the enemy. This was precisely little or no spiritual development. Another great discovery was their radar system near the entrances of the known lands, penetrating the dome. When the ancestral entered through the known passages, small, even some large earthquakes were generated in surrounding areas. It was extreme surveillance system that put them on alert and sent support forces for that reason. It is quite common that the earthquakes were almost always in the same area, and it was always the answer to why we're not sending more people for a long time. And we tried that those who were there did not return to continue collecting as much information as possible from day-to-day manipulated environment. So basically they're saying as soon as they entered in a certain point, it triggered an earthquake. That's interesting. The important thing then was to find another entrance or create one. Nor could we use any portals since all of them were controlled by the custodians. But the exhaustive study of the closed zone in the external part of the same added to everything that was postponed in the Republic really was carried out. Made that was created throughout safe ice melting based on the statistics, not to generate floods in an area called Summer's Portal. They said the custodians control all the portals. That is wild. Where entry was possible but could not yet be confirmed if the sophisticated control did not cover that area. If possible, we could then send different ancestors into the lands and use their means to infiltrate important information. The ancestral republic, the possibility of other lands, and the real humans' past would be mentioned as much as possible. Sometimes it did not matter so much the name by which our lands were known. The important thing was to know about the lands behind the ice walls. As long as I did not alter the day of my life, as it would raise great suspicion. Many people who carried out the missions were locked up in different institutions, so they were very careful in spreading the information. We know that the great part of humanity would not even pay attention to these facts, due to the existing conditioning of several generations, which would lead to them really not to pay attention. And although prior to this it was seen something negative, and really helped us since we gained some type of being able to carry out their other plans, until all would finally unite in a single plan or mission. But for that, we had to work on a parallel, and it was an outrageous task to carry out. The plans were really excellent since they did not cause any harm to the human being. To reach necessary critical mass was going to be complicated anyway. For that reason, there was another alternative that considered in carrying out a very deep spiritual teaching, trying to break the human conditioning within the vile environment. When the human being develops their different techniques implemented by the ancestors of the known lands and can block as much as possible in the conditioning and therefore the mind manipulation by the custodial control, there it was be easier for many to open up to the possibility that another reality actually existed outside these walls. This great ice walls will sooner or later become visible, and genuine human expeditions would also collide with them. But it was well known from our lands that any idea of going beyond would surely be blocked by generating fear or directly by force through what they always use: military intervention. The summer portal and the spiritual education. All right, y'all. If you made it this far, the code word is Saturday night. Drop Saturday night if you made it this far. And we'll be dropping another banger tomorrow. It's your boy Jesky Chuck signing out. Peace.